Well, hello, everybody. This is Titus with Glow Growth and Development, and we have a special guest today. His name is Mike Grebas. Thank you for your time, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Oh, you are so welcome. It is great to be here.
Yes. So how was your weekend?
It was wonderful. Had some ups and downs. We're getting ready to put in new windows around the whole house. And so we've got to clean rooms out, change things up a little bit. And so it was highly productive. And we got to get out and do some indoor rock climbing. And it was incredible.
Oh, yes, yes. So for our audience, Mike and I are partners at the gym, and we do rock climbing. And yes, it is awesome, and I appreciate you taking part in that journey with me.
Oh my gosh, it has just been so much fun, and I've learned so much about myself. And I never thought that would happen. I thought I'm just going to go out and climb. Oh no, I learned a lot about Michael.
Yes, and that's half the reason or part of the reason how I got into rock climbing was you use rock climbing in your coaching business. Is that correct?
Oh my God, yes, I do. One of the great things that I've come to understand is there are different aspects of life that challenge us, and we don't know exactly where we're going to get our breakthroughs. So I have a coaching on the wall program where we actually get up on the wall side by side and we do coaching, and we have such incredible breakthroughs in life, relationship, and businesses right there on the wall, creating an extraordinary life, extraordinary relationship, and an extraordinary business.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yes, I know some of our conversations as we're climbing don't aren't always just about the rock wall. It's about life. We have those conversations that delve into you as a person and the mindset that you need to get to the top or whatever it might be that it relates.
It does, because we end up having to trust ourselves. And as you and I have grown in our climbing skills, we've been able to now start belaying each other. And so there's something called top roping, and that is phenomenal. That's where you get to climb a lot of very challenging climbing in the gym itself. And then there's also called lead climbing. And that's where you go up and you hook the rope and then you climb up, hook the rope again, and trusting yourself, trusting your partner, trusting the people who set the courses on the wall. So there's a lot of trust factor in the climbing. And so as you're digging deep down inside of yourself to find that extraordinary life, trust always comes up as an issue
Mhm.
somewhere.
Yes, and so for myself, the word that comes out is vulnerable.
Oh my gosh, you're hanging on a rope about the size of my finger here, and you're up 45 feet in the air, and you look down, and your partner's over there playing the banjo, messing around. And
Yeah.
it really, you are very vulnerable, just in general aspects, because it's a very technical and dangerous sport. And yet, isn't that the same way we feel in a relationship and in business as well?
Yeah, and life.
Yes.
For myself recently, I've had some impacts in my life that hurt. And I was going through my notes, and in my notes way back, I wrote, "Put yourself out there." Right? As a glow person, you have to put yourself out there, and you have to glow. Well, when you put yourself out there and you glow, you are vulnerable, you are exposed, and when those impacts come, it hurts, right? You feel it, and so you tend, for myself, I tend to, okay, let me hole up let me hole up and protect myself. But if I hole up and protect myself, what good am I being to the world, and being a light to them?
Well, and Titus, you are so correct, because what happens is you become a turtle. You go right into your shell as a turtle, and then you poke your head out, and then you go back in, you're poking your head out, and literally it becomes emotionally exhausting, just not knowing how much you can trust yourself, how vulnerable you are, what is the right decision. And all of a sudden, your mind starts going into all kinds of different places. And that's where some of the things I've discovered as a life coach and a business coach is how to reframe things in your mind, and also how to reframe them in your communications in ways that people now understand exactly who you are, what you're about, where you're going, what your message is. Because here's a key, and oh gosh, for anybody listening, grab a paper and pencil and write this down. This is so great. Is there's always a message behind the message.
Mm.
So think about that. There's times that we have one aspect of our message which we think we're getting across, and yet the secondary message comes across even louder and more clear. And all of a sudden, you're like, oh, I never thought of it quite that way. So I know we have experienced that in our conversations as well.
Yes, yes. So for and to dive into that a little bit, Mike and I were talking the other day, and we were talking about some of my clients and some of the things that I offer as a business person, entrepreneur. And in my sentencing, I would start the sentence with, "I can do this for them." And Mike pointed out to me that I say that, it focuses on me. That sentence is focused on the I. And so, Mike, tell the audience a little bit about reframing. Go into that a little bit deeper.
Oh, absolutely. One of the things you do when you're sitting down and talking to somebody now, these principles apply in a relationship, it applies at a workplace. So if you're talking to a coworker, a boss, or if you're an entrepreneur and you're out there talking to a new client or even an existing client. So when you go in there and you go, let me tell you all about what I am about. Wow, all of a sudden you get lit up and you're like, wow, this guy is really excited about something here. And the spotlight is on you. So think of it like a Broadway play. When the curtain opens up and all of a sudden the spotlight comes out, it's on that one person center stage. Now, in business, a lot of people want to know not just what you can do for me. See, that's the first part of the message. What can you do for me? And they're even going to ask to put the spotlight on you. And this is where the reframe terminology comes in. Because as you develop your relationship with them and you find out what their need is, and you say, okay, here is where your goal is. Here are the personnel you're going to need, the financing, the timing. This is where it's going to take this part of developing this process for your project. Now, through that whole thing, where has my focus been?
Yeah, me.
It's been on the client, exactly
Yeah.
where it's supposed to be, rather than going, well, I'm going to sit here and tell you every step along the way. And then I am going to make sure that you're following up because I'm going to be your accountability partner. Now, let me tell you more about what I did 20 years ago with this other company that was just like yours. And all of a sudden, the focus is so much on you, and what they're looking for are results right now. And they don't want to know what happened 20 years ago because everything changed in the last couple of years. So when you reframe it away from the I and you say, now, these elements, as you develop your marketing plan or your strategy, these are the 5 key elements to make that happen. And you start talking about the elements, well, they already know it's coming from you. So you don't have to use the I or the me because you're speaking. They know it is you. So then when you're focused on these 3 or 4 elements here, and you start talking about branding, and you explain the fact that branding is a message. And as you start looking at what your message is, and you start rewording that message and get very specific, then you talk about how you're going to get that branded message out there. So now we're talking exposure. And let's look at the different mechanisms from some of the social media platforms, from radio, television, postcards, networking events, just whatever it is. Oh, and even asking for referrals. Now, look at what I've done here. I have laid out a plan for starting your branding and your messaging, then how we're going to get marketing and exposure out there. And yet, I didn't talk about me one time.
Right. Yep. And it feels like even in this conversation with you now, you're in a teaching moment. But even now, I don't feel like it's about you. I feel that it's very open and fluid and back and forth, as opposed to one directional I coming from Mike.
Yes, and the key behind this is when I start talking so much about me, what they have to do is figure out what's in my mind, how much experience I have, where I've come from. Do I have certifications? Did I go to college? How did I come at this level to get this? And when they have to start figuring you out so they know why you are saying what you're saying, you're making them work 3 times harder than what they need to work to figure out what we're going to accomplish. And what we are going to accomplish, now look at that, what we are going to accomplish is their outcome.
You're
And
right.
they need time, money, resources, they need clarity, they need direction. And because they're sitting in front of you, they know it's coming from you. So everybody today, remove the I and the me out of your conversations, and let's get to the outcome. Let's get to the solution. And that's a very simple formula for success.
Yeah. And so remove the I from, and you had talked about branding. What is the message that they're trying to communicate as a business owner? What's the message you're trying to promote in your brand, and remove the I from that? Wow. That's powerful.
Oh yeah, I have seen it so many times where companies, they write out this huge, beautiful dissertation of, I'm going to be doing this, and I'm going to go there with you, and I'm going to be, and let me tell you about how me working with your staff is going to make this happen. And all of a sudden, the focus has been so much on them. Now, by reframing that in itself in the brand and say, your company is needs to capture another 5% of the marketplace. In order to do that, your people need to have this kind of knowledge of your product and services. So every time they call in and they see your employee, they're going to be clear and concise, and it's going to match up with your branding message.
Wow, that's powerful.
It is. And yet, again, look at this. I still didn't talk about me, and yet it's a powerful statement. It's a powerful way to do marketing. It's a powerful way for employees and managers to become a leader. And oh, that's why this is so rich, because it just keeps growing and growing to where people get excited about customers coming in because they know what they're talking about. They have all the right resources at their hand. They've been trained very well, and they know that the message that's being put out there is a message they're going to give them. So now the customer experience is just clean, it's fun, it's energetic, it's problem solving, it's achieving their goals. So you just cannot lose by doing this.
Yeah. So for the audience and for those managers and leaders out there, what's one simple thing that they can do? One little exercise that you could give them that would help them be a better manager or leader today?
Well, you know what? It goes back to golfing. So when you think about Tiger Woods, the one thing that he always gets questioned, how are you such a good putter? And he gets out there during the contest and he just swings a putt. Everything is so fluid and smooth. The one thing that he tells everybody is before every tournament and before every game, he will get up and do 300 to 500 and more putts in the morning. So now
Mm,
that's training, that's practice, that is him learning his skill. So for each and every one of you leaders and managers and business owners, you need to train and practice like an athlete. You need to be
mm,
in front of the mirror, in front of the video, just like we're doing here, and record yourself, listen to yourself, see how you're talking, look for what the message behind the message is. So the one thing I can tell you is practice and train yourself to be very clear and concise and laser focused on what your outcome is and what it's going to take to make that happen. You can only do that through training and exercise.
yeah, so I'm going to ask you, I'm going to put you out there a little bit. What's your morning routine look like?
Oh my gosh. I'll tell you, I get up in the morning and the first thing I do before I even get out of bed is I clear my mind. Because one of the things that happens so often is we wake up in the morning and we start thinking and worrying, and we've got challenges and problems. We started thinking about what didn't get done, what needs to get done. And look at the state of mind. Look at my state of being in that morning. It's already in chaos. It's already in turmoil. I'm going in all kinds of different directions, and I haven't even got out of bed yet.
Yeah.
So when you think about what your morning routine should be, clear all of that out and know, because of the preparation and the work you've done the night before and the day before, you're going to be ready for today. And that is a key element to have an extraordinary life, extraordinary business, and extraordinary relationship right now. So the part of the morning is get your mind in the right place, because what happens is your mind actually has a chemical reaction when you go into the negative, stressed out place.
Yep.
So you're going to start your morning in a negative, stressed out place. You're changing the biochemistry in your body. And then you wonder why you feel so exhausted when you get up. So then I can get up, go downstairs, because I got a 500 square foot workout center, and I go down and I'm exercising and working out. I'm working on my Johnny Bravo imitation. Hey, hey, what's going on, mama? And for anybody that's young, you will not get that. For us older guys, it's an older cartoon. So
Yes.
waking up in the right mindset, then getting up and exercising. Oh, and something else, Titus, this is so important here for the morning. The first thing I put into my body is fresh filtered water with some fresh squeezed organic lemon and a little bit of pink and Himalayan salt.
Mm,
And what it does is it flushes out the toxins. So I've got the mindset, I've got the right fluid in my body, so it's detoxing my body. First thing, I'm downstairs exercising, and at 60 years old, soon to be 61, for us to be rock climbing and biking and hiking and rollerblading, literally I am sitting here looking out my window, and I'm at the foot of Pikes Peak. 14,000 feet of just sheer majesty out there. Look at the way I approach life.
mm,
And Titus, that's what this is about, is what is your state of being in the morning when you wake up? What is your state of being as you go through your day? And how are you in your relationships with everyone around you? When
yeah.
it's turmoil, it's negative, it just becomes a job. It becomes a burden, a beast of burden. And this today, you get to change all of that with changing your mindset, getting laser focused, really look at the outcome of your clients and your relationships, and let's get to work and have some fun.
Yes. Yes. For me, one of the things that I've recently learned is to I'll give myself the hug, right? Actually your arms, when you do that, creates the infinity loop. And I'll just sit there and I will say, and I'll just go, I love, right? And just be grateful. I'll go through my gratitudes, my affirmations, and just, and like you,
Yes.
put my mind in the right spot. And
It matters. And somebody asked Tony Robbins this question. It was a great question. They go, in a big interview, Tony, you cannot always be this happy, can you? You've got to have bad days. Tony sat there, he looked at him, and he goes, well, I have tough times. Listen to what he just said in his messaging right there. Yeah, we all have tough times. What I don't do, as Tony Robbins, is let that go on all day long. I have a 90-second window, and I give myself 90 seconds to get angry, frustrated, yell, and go, oh, I just don't like this. This is terrible for 90 seconds. And then he shifts out of that mindset and goes, what needs to happen? What is our outcome? What resources do we have? What tools do we need? Let's get to work. And that's
wow.
what he does. And that is why he is so successful. And that's why you and I are so successful in our lives now, because we made that shift out of the negative mindset, the negative biochemistry in our body, the negative conversation. And now we are focused on everything that life has to offer. And it is beautiful, it is dynamic, and it is incredible. And ladies and gentlemen, let me be very clear. I have had back surgery from a car accident because somebody clobbered me at a stoplight. I've had a stroke. My wife has had cancer. And I'm here to tell you, even in those tough times, everything I've talked about here, we applied in those moments, and it has changed the whole outcome. And my wife is a cancer survivor. I'm a stroke survivor, and I am hiking, biking, rollerblading, even though I have nerve damage in my foot, and I still get up there on the wall. Nothing can stop us but us.
I love it. I love it. Yes. It's been there are challenges, right? There are moments of challenge, but you have to really have that mindset and switch yourself out of it. And that's the benefit of having a coach, is that perspective.
Yes. Yeah, and,
There,
and and you know what? Every great coach will tell you the reason they're a good coach is because they have coaches that coach them. So I have coaches that coach me, and they come in and they're like, Michael, what do we talk about? We talked about that. And they, you know what? It is just incredible.
yeah, yeah. They coaches provide a perspective. They don't hold your paradigm, right? So there's things that I'm scared of or might be intimidated with or hesitant to move on. And they're just paradigms. They're just things that I have floating around in my own head. Whereas a coach can come in and I'm looking at it from this perspective, but the coach
Yes,
is looking at it from another perspective. And they're like, these walls and these challenges that you're putting up in your own mind aren't really that big, and you
that's
can get through
correct.
them.
Yep, yep. And you and I have learned that because there's times that we go up and we're climbing and we're reaching way up here. And what we realize is we don't have our feet in the right place to support the hand, the grip that we need to grab right here. So all we do is shift, throw our hips in, use our other hand, grab, and all of a sudden we're climbing another 20 feet. And
Yeah.
yet we didn't even realize that until somebody down below us goes, hey, it's off to the right, reach through your hip. And all of a sudden it's like, that wasn't so tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're correct. And that's why climbing in life is so incredible. So let's just encourage every one of us here that is listening to this, whether it's on audio or video, just really dig down deep inside of yourself. Get rid of the debris that is causing you the pain and the clutter in your mind. Get rid of the negative thoughts, the negative environment, the negative behavior, because accountability, personal accountability is so important. These world athletes that are gymnasts that go to the Olympics, and I used to be in gymnastics in high school, and a friend of mine went to the Olympics and won a gold medal for the all-around team. Literally, they recognized what it was going to take to be a highly trained athlete. And it is the right mindset, self-belief, self-worth. And you cannot have all of this negative toxicity in and around your life and think you're going to do great. So clean it up. Get rid of the garbage, take it out, make the trash man dump that, and never look back. Because I'll tell you, Titus, there is too much in life to have. Let's get out there, let's have it, let's create it, and let's create it together.
Woo! Got me fired up, man.
I love it. And ladies and gentlemen, this is how we climb. We are we attack the wall.
I love it. So why don't you tell the audience how they can get in touch with you, and and some of the services that you offer, and you got me all motivated. So yeah, how can somebody else touch base with you?
Well, thank you for that question. One of the best ways to get a hold of me is you can call me right on my cell phone. I give it out to everybody. It does not matter. You can reach me at 719-339-7402, or you can go to my website, which is createitnowcoaching.com.
Wow, createitnowcoaching.com. Love
Oh yeah,
it.
because I'm not going to wait. I don't have time. So if you're out there and you're like, you know what, is this too good to be true? Oh no. Go to my website, see what my clients are saying, see what happens in their life and in their businesses that has transformed them. And yes, you can have an extraordinary life. This is not hype, this is real, and you can have it today, not tomorrow. Let's get to work today.
Woo! I love it.
You gotta love it. Now, this is how, and for us, this is 7 o'clock in the morning that we're doing this video. So that means we've both been up for quite a while. So get up, get engaged, love yourself, love your life. Let's have an extraordinary time.
Yes, paint a beautiful picture and walk into the picture.
Ooh, I like that.
Love it. Well, Mike, I appreciate your time. It's been a wonderful time speaking with you. I'll look forward to putting this out there for the audience to listen to and to glean some knowledge from. And you guys know how to reach Mike. Reach out to him, touch base with him, and get some more of his knowledge in your world. So it's a huge blessing. I'll tell you that from my personal experience.
Well, thank you very much. It's a blessing and an honor to be here with you, and for us to be with you out there. It is also a blessing and an honor. We are here to help each other, and we love it. So thank you.
You guys have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.